It's Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to get right into it today. A few articles here I want to share with all of you. Feel free to comment down below on any of these articles, any of this news, anything you want to comment on. I love the comments. I try to read as many as I can, and people love the comments. So keep the comments coming. This first article, and this just came out over the last couple hours, SEC hacked. Chaos erupts after unauthorized post on X signals approval of Bitcoin spot ETF. The SEC government Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. It signaled approval of the Bitcoin spot ETF. Now, who did this? Why did they do this? What was their motive? And, you know, what people have to realize is anything on a computer can be compromised. And that can be digital money, that can be bank accounts, that can be cryptos, that can be literally anything. And what's amazing here is that this account was compromised. Why it was, nobody really knows. What was the motive? Comment down below. What was the motive? What if they said, what if it was the opposite and they said that the ETF was not approved? Then what? But this did send the price of Bitcoin down about 1,000. I don't know where it's at right now. But you have got to realize anything on a computer can be compromised, including your money, including your stocks, including your financial accounts. Anything can be compromised. And this is why I think it's so imperative that you at least hold some percentage of your investments in something tangible that you can physically get to in a time of need, because there is more and more talk that something is going to happen that is going to involve the internet. It's going to be some major cyber attack, some huge event. And if people cannot get to their money, if people cannot use their money, if their plastic cards don't work, if you can't go to an ATM and pull out some cash, people are going to be in very, very big trouble here. So I'm not telling anybody here to get entirely out of these, these type of accounts or, out of anything digital. But I think you better be extremely diversified, because if the worst case scenario happens, what do you have? Because if everything you have is on a computer, you are very, very vulnerable. Here's another one today from CNBC. 56 million Americans have been in credit card debt for at least a year. We're seeing pockets of trouble, experts say. Here's a question I have to all of you too is, you know people that have 10 or more credit cards, and they are paying the bare minimum. They're continuing to get farther and farther into debt with these credit cards. Should people be allowed to have this many credit cards? Should they be allowed to have this much credit card debt? At some point, when they cannot pay this back and they begin to default on these credit card accounts, and the banks get into trouble because they made bad auto loans, they made bad home loans, they made bad commercial loans, they made all these credit card loans, and people cannot pay this stuff back. Well, of course, they're going to go after you and I and say, hey, everybody's defaulting, we need a bailout. Credit card balances are now at $1.08 trillion. Credit card balances are up 40% in the past 2 years. This is not a good sign. This, to me, says that this economy is in very, very big trouble when people are carrying this much debt and the debt is growing this rapidly. Average credit card balance is $6,088. Well, what if you have 10 credit card balances, 15 credit card balances? It says right here, if you have $6,088 on one credit card balance, and we're looking at 22% interest on that credit card, it would take 17 years and $9,000 in interest just to pay that one credit card off. And again, most people have multiple balances, and think about how many people have balances that are way over $6,000, and they're paying 22, 23% on each one of those balances. they're never going to be able to pay this back. And, people ask me, just like I said yesterday, if you saw yesterday's video, how are people out and about? They're staying at the resorts, they're playing golf, they're going to the restaurants, they're going to the bars, everything looks wonderful, they're putting gasoline in the car. Life is good, my friend, right? How are they doing it? Well, $1.08 trillion in credit card debt probably explains this phenomenon that we're watching take place. Americans are racking up more phantom debt. Why is that a problem? This on CNBC also. We look at the buy now, pay later plans. Hit an all-time high, up 14% year over year. More people financing this debt, up 14% year over year. This debt, get this, is not reported to major credit reporting agencies. So basically, we don't even know how much consumer debt really exists because of all this buy now, pay later. It's not even being reported. So we have no idea. And remember, much of this buy now, pay later debt, these are subprime borrowers. These are people who can't even get a credit card, or they're paying 30% on a credit card. They're subprime borrowers, and they're running up tons of debt. And many of them are defaulting on this debt, or they're late. Many will default on this debt. And again, we don't even know how bad the debt really is. Here's another one from CNBC. 43% of Americans with credit card debt say it's due to emergency expenses. Here's how much it's costing them. Check it out. It's a good article. But it says 49% are carrying a balance on their credit card right now at nearly 23%. How are they ever going to make this whole? They list out some emergencies here. The number one emergency is medical bills. That's what people are using credit cards for. Their number one emergency, medical bills. Second, car repairs. Transmission goes out, power steering goes out, brakes need to be done. Credit card at 23%. Third on the list, home repairs. Maybe got a leaky pipe, air conditioner went out, 23%. People don't have the cash. They don't have the savings. They don't have the emergency savings to pay for these type of emergencies. So what are they doing? They're going to the only thing that they have left, and that's a credit card. It says in the article that credit cards shouldn't be used for emergency expenses, and I totally agree. Unfortunately, most people don't have any other option because they're working 2, 3, or 4 jobs, multiple jobs. We have nearly 9 million people in this country working multiple jobs, and they're just making it. 62% of this country is working paycheck to paycheck. That's the official number. Many people say it's 78, 80% working paycheck to paycheck. Many people cannot even make it to the next paycheck. They're borrowing money just to get to the next paycheck. And so people don't really have any other option that, if they have a leaky pipe, a leaky roof, car repair, they got to go to urgent care, they're using a credit card. And they're going to get deeper and deeper into debt. And I've said this a million times, but think about what we're heading into. We are heading into probably the greatest depression financial depression America has ever seen. And you have millions of people that are full-blown debt slaves at this point. They have no money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Any emergency that arises is going on a credit card that is charging them 23%. And my biggest fear is what is going to happen with these people as this economy continues to get deeper and deeper into trouble. How are these people going to survive? How are they going to exist? How are they going to feed themselves, pay their bills? This is why I think we're going to see a homeless explosion, a homelessness crisis in America that is going to be way worse than the one we're witnessing right now. We do see the numbers throughout the country, especially here in California, exploding. And how could it not when you are looking and reading the data that I'm sharing with all of you? And this is mainstream, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one from CNBC. Paying rent, still a problem for 24% of renters. 10% of Americans 69 years or older reported they can no longer afford to pay rent. 57% of Americans allocate a majority of their income towards housing costs. This is, this is going to continue to be a big problem, but 57% of Americans allocating a majority of their income towards housing costs. That means that there's nothing left pretty much after they pay their rent or their mortgage payment. So when emergency does arise, guess what? It's going on the credit card at 23%, 28%, 30%, whatever the number may be. So this is going to continue to be a very, very bad cycle for millions of people, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, I'm watching the news today. Auto insurance skyrocketing, home insurance skyrocketing, health insurance skyrocketing. Things aren't getting cheaper. You go to, I don't know if you went to the grocery store this week, but it's not getting cheaper. It's getting more and more expensive. Here's one from The Hedge today. What's the source of the astounding 50% boost in corporate profits? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. It's pretty much greed. Corporate America added $1.2 trillion in profits last year. How did they do it? Well, they did it by raising prices and giving you a smaller amount in that box. You go to the store and you're like, wow, this is a good price on bacon. Oh, but it's only 12 ounces. You look at how many potato chips you get in a bag. I can't even believe the price of a bag of potato chips right now. And most of the bag, it's just air. You don't even. It's shocking what is missing in a bag of potato chips. It's shocking how much smaller boxes of food have gotten, or how much less is in the package. The shrinkflation, ladies and gentlemen, is alive and well. And this corporatocracy that's going on, the shrinkflation, the greed that is taking place should be absolutely criminal. And I hope at some point, which I'm sure I'm dreaming here, that maybe some politicians will do something about it, but more than likely they're not going to. And of course, there's no competition for this corporatocracy because they killed it off a couple years ago, wiping out their competition. And so, now, when you go to a city, especially out here in Southern California, you can go from one city to the next city to the next city. They all look alike, right? It's McDonald's over here, Starbucks over here, a Chipotle over here, a Costco over here, a Home Depot here, and a Lowe's here. And they all look alike. It's all the big boys, all the big corporate big boys that are alive and well, and they're going to dictate and monopolize prices. And that's exactly what is going on right now. And there's really nothing you can do about it without competition. But they killed off the competition. So shrinkflation alive and well, and price gouging, to me, which is very apparent, absolutely immoral and repulsive. And these companies should be ashamed of themselves for what they're doing to the American people who are struggling paycheck to paycheck, trying to feed their families, just trying to survive. And now we got to deal with more of this greed. This is not capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. This is corporateocracy, okay? This is complete crony capitalism that is taking place. Here's another one from The Hedge today. Shock number, 38% of U.S. companies anticipate that they will conduct layoffs in 2024. I spoke about this a few days ago. I would say get ready. Many more layoffs are on the way. And if you're watching this video, you've got to prepare for this. Nobody is immune from being laid off. Your spouse could get laid off. You could get laid off. What does this mean? Would this change your life? Do you have enough in reserves to pay the mortgage, the rent, the car payments, the health insurance, the credit card bills, the utilities that continue to go up also? How long would you survive if you or a spouse lost a job? And I know a lot of people don't want to think about that. A lot of people say that would never happen to me. If you think that that could not happen, you're in fantasy land, because it's happening. It's been happening throughout 2023. And we are going to see mass layoffs take place in 2024. And I hope that you've been putting the cash reserves away. I hope you and pray that you've been paying the debts down, because if you have a reserve put away 6, 12 months, your debts are up to date, or you've made your debts whole and you don't carry a lot of debt, even better. If you or a spouse got laid off, you are not going to go into panic mode. You're going to be able to sit back, breathe a little bit, and you have time to find another job. If you don't have a reserve and you're drowning in debt and you or a spouse loses a job, you're going in panic mode because you know the bills are coming due tomorrow and there's no way to pay them. So you're already behind the 8 ball and you're going to be in very, very big trouble. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of people because a lot of people thought it would never happen to them. They live paycheck to paycheck, day to day. They don't live for what's coming. They live for today. They don't think about next week, next month, next year. They think about right now. And this is going to be a very long played out game, and you've got to be thinking down the road here. And if you're not, if you're just thinking for today, that is dangerous. It really, really is. And I pray that you never lose your job. I pray that your spouse never loses a job, but be prepared for it to happen because the odds are going to go up considerably this year in 2024. 3,000 retailers closed in 2023. Nothing compared to what we're about to see in 2024. They're talking about 50,000 retailers closing by 2028. That is unbelievable on top of the retailers we've already seen close over the last 3 years. Switching gears here, New York Post. This was absolutely alarming to me, what I'm about to share with you. But if you get a second, go to the New York Post, check out this article. Rats scamper out from under homeless man's blanket on New York City subway platform. I can't even speak right now because I'm in shock with what I watched. This video, again, one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. So here's some homeless dude sleeping on this platform, this subway platform, and he's got a big blanket and he's under the blanket. You can't even see him. And there are things moving under the blanket. And somebody picks up the blanket and shakes it. And I'm not exaggerating. Check this video out for yourself. Go to the New York Post. Go to Rats Scamper Out from Under Homeless Man. Literally 100 rats come scampering out from under this man's blanket. So unbelievable. And I bring this up because this is really going to lead to a major health crisis where rats are sleeping under blankets with humans and spreading disease. And this is unacceptable. And why we have people sleeping in subways and sleeping at bus stops, sleeping at police stations, sleeping in cardboard boxes. I just watched an interview last night down at Skid Row, Los Angeles. This is extremely dangerous because of the health issues and health ramifications that can be derived from rats. And this cannot be allowed to continue. Something very, very bad is going to happen if we continue to allow people to sleep in these kind of conditions, extremely unsanitary. We had a typhus outbreak a couple years ago in LA, and we're just asking for big trouble. But how can we allow a human being to lay on a ground in a blanket with 100 rats? There was so much money being wasted, the billions of dollars. Here, we just added another $1.6 trillion to our debt with the debt ceiling. And I want to know where all this money is going to go. Why are there not institutions where we can take these people, get them off the streets, keep them safe, keep them clean, not have a major health crisis outbreak from all of this? I just don't think any human being should be sleeping on the ground at a subway with rats all under their blanket. And rats bite people, they start eating people. It's just terrible. But I had to share that with you because this is America 2024, where we allow people with mental disorders to sleep in public places and have 100 rats sleeping under their blanket with them, probably chewing on them, spreading disease. I mean, it's just unacceptable. But this is what a third world looks like. This is when you lift up a blanket at a public subway and 100 rats are skewering or skewering, whatever the word is, all over the place. I mean, I can't even think right now, just thinking of that video in my head. Don't watch it because it will just be imprinted in your brain. Just absolutely disturbing. Worse than anything you're going to see in some scary movie. This is reality. This is what's really happening. And you know, this is acceptable to people. They walk by this stuff every day. They walk by the rats. They walk by the homeless people. They walk by these people with mental disorders, and we're just callous to it. That it's just part of society now. That we're going to have, you know, people sleeping everywhere, and you know, people ride by on their bicycles and their skateboards, and it doesn't even faze them now. But this is the world we're living in, 2024. Be very, very gracious for what you have, what God has allowed you to have, for blessing you. I feel very, very appreciative every day that I can walk and talk and breathe and function and sit here and talk with all of you. I feel very, very blessed. And, you know, I know there's people that live in big houses and big mansions and drive big cars and have great lives. I'm just happy and thankful for what I have and the family that I have, and just having my health today. I feel very, very blessed. And I hope all of you do too. It's not about how big your house is, the zip code, the kind of car you drive. Nothing wrong with all that stuff. There's people that watch, you know, my videos. They live in very nice homes, drive very, very nice cars. There's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate that. I'm a fan of that. We should all strive to be successful. And look, if you can afford to write a check or pay cash for a beautiful car or a home, and you can support the lifestyle, more power to you. You've been very, very blessed. And I hope that you're blessing others for you being blessed. I hope that you're always giving back to the community a little bit, that you're helping out people or animals that need help, that are struggling right now, because you've been given the opportunity, you've been blessed, and we should always make sure that we're always trying to pull other people up, not put down. But I wanted to share this with you today. I don't want to go on a rant here, but this debt, this credit card debt, well over $1 trillion now, people now continuing to be forced as their only option to survive with credit cards, going to the grocery stores, paying the utility bills, making the car payment on a credit card. This is going to continue to worsen as the economy continues to slow down. Shrinkflation worsen, the greed is going to worsen. Prices of literally everything are probably going to continue to go up. Maybe they go up slower, but hey, things could begin to accelerate very, very quickly. Anything could happen in the Middle East right now that could turn oil prices upside down, and before you know it, we're back up to $90 or $100 oil, and that would be catastrophic here, because inflation would be absolutely out of control. So a lot happening. The Red Sea issues, the Middle East issues. There was, I think, another earthquake today in Indonesia, if I'm correct, 6.8, 6.9. It's pretty good size. So we're seeing a lot of earthquakes this year. But 2024 has started out with a bang, without a doubt. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Who knows what we're going to wake up to. Be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Be prepared. Do not be complacent. God bless every one of you. Like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon. God bless.